It's a wetland, guys. A little wetland. It's a swamp. I used to actually hunt over here when I was a kid. It's so loud here, you can't even talk. It hurts my ears, guys. I feel like I'm gonna hurt my ears. Absolutely insane. These are frogs, guys. This noise that you hear, these are frogs. What's going on, guys? It's New York Prepper here, and spending a day in the mountains here, the beautiful Catskill Mountains, and you know, just wanted to share some of the scenery here. I'm gonna go for a little hike and maybe scout out some hunting areas, you know, just really go off the trail. And I want to see if there's an old bear den. There's an old bear den that I saw 4 years ago. There was a huge bear den, and I want to go and explore and see if it's still there. So, you know, join me on my my quest to find the bear den. All right, guys. So, and here's the road that leads up to the bear den. It's very secluded here. There's no houses. This is actually a wilderness area here. So I think it's I don't know how many acres of wilderness there is here, but there's a little river here. It's a little because of the rain over the last 2 days, you could see the water's pretty fast in this little mountain stream here. But you could see the topography here is very steep. I'm probably around 2,800 feet above sea level right now. You can see the vegetation is a mixture of hemlock and hardwood and some spruces. All right, mostly birches here. Mostly birches and some oaks and maples mixed in, depending on what side of the mountain you're on. If you're on the north side or the south side. Many of you guys don't know, but I actually studied forestry for a little while. So I have some familiarity with forestry stuff. I actually went to college for forestry for a little bit, but I never completed my degree. But I was there enough to learn quite a bit. So, you know, but you can see the tree cover here. It's a mixture of hardwood and evergreen. It's extremely secluded out here, guys. Nobody around, so maybe I'll see a Bigfoot also. We'll see. And so stick with me, guys, and we'll try to see if we can find this bear den together. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it or not. You know, I don't know if the bear is still alive, or you know, if somebody shot it, or you know, bears tend to live pretty long, so it should still be there, but we'll see what happens. And when I was there last time a couple of years ago, I knew it was a bear den area because there was a lot of poop, bear poop, you know, and the poop was like really big. It was like huge, you know, so I knew it was a big bear because it was like the size of the poop was like the size of horse poop, you know. So that just told me that it was a huge bear, and then the poop was like all over the place, you know. It was like, you know, just all over the place. So I knew it was an active area there. So we'll see if I can't find it. So stick with me, guys. What's going on, guys? It's Greg here. I'm at my spot now, and it's very secluded here, as you can see. This is where I've seen a bear den before, so I'm gonna go and investigate, see if this bear lives over here. still. A lot of the trees have grown quite a bit since the last time I've been here, but there's definitely a lot of deer in this area, so it'll be fun just to scout the property out and see if there's any good hunting opportunities here for deer. But I'm also going to try to film my 44 Magnum penetration test video right now, so we'll see if I can get 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm actually walking on a deer trail. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's very mucky over here. This is good deer habitat right here. You can actually see their hoof marks right here. You can see where their hoof went into the soft ground over here. There's another one down there. When you guys are in the woods, you should always pay attention to the ground. Same thing if you're bugging out. You know, you want to be aware of what's on the ground, because the ground will leave a lot of clues as to what if there was somebody there before you or not, or if there was animals in the area. So always pay attention to the ground. You know, be observant. You know, pay attention to your surroundings. Looks like somebody's target shooting not too far from me. Probably. So looks like I'm not the only one that got the idea of doing some shooting. I'm gonna try to stay out of that tall grass there, because I know there's probably a ton of ticks. So I'm trying to walk around it, but I'll keep you guys posted on my journey here. Look at all these dense conifers. It makes really good cover for deer. This low brush in there. Deer love that. Bears too. You know, they like to feel safe. You know, and these dense conifers and the low brush makes them feel safe in here. So good spot here for hunting, because you got the cover, you know, and then over here you got the open field, which in the summertime is green, so the deer have some greenery to eat. And then you also have hardwoods in the back over there, so the deer can eat acorns and stuff like that. So stick with me, guys, and join me on my journey. Alright guys, so wanted to just show you some good white-tailed deer habitat. If you want to, you know, be successful in your white-tailed deer hunting, you want to find some heavy cover like you see here. You want to have a mixture of cover and food sources, and here we have very dense cover. You can see these pines over here, not pines, conifers, I'm sorry. See these conifers, guys, very dense. Looks like there was an old farm over here, but it's absolutely beautiful here. And then down there you have open hardwoods in the back, and that's where the deer can go and eat their acorns and their beech nuts. And then they can come down here, and there's actually some little brush that they can eat, these little buds here. See these buds? They can chew on that. There's a lot of grasses coming out. So they like a mixture of you know, habitat. They have food that they eat in the summer, and then they have food that they eat in the winter and fall, and that's usually the mast meaning nuts and stuff like that. They eat that in the fall, and in the winter when there's no greenery, and when everything is green, they like to eat this grassy you know, underbrush and weeds and stuff like that. So ideal area for deer is a mixture of open hardwoods, you know, mature hardwoods, especially oaks, and mast producing trees like beech and oak, chestnuts and things like that. And also some old fields like you see here, and some open areas where there's going to be some greenery and some brush where they can eat stuff in the summertime. And then also you want to have some cover to break the, you know, the deer don't like to be out in the elements just like people, so they like to go into dense conifer stands like you see here and hide out in them. and you know, any kind of dense brush. You know, there's two types of cover. There's cover where the animal or the deer is trying to hide from predators, and that's this type of brush that you see in front of me. It's more to break up the visibility and to be able to hide from predators. And then you have weather cover, which is more conifers, and these are areas where deer will go to escape from the elements. All right, so in order to have good deer habitat, you want to have a mixture of all these things. You know, you want to have the greenery and open areas for their summertime browse, you know, and then you want to have some predator cover so they can hide. You want to also have some conifer stands like you see here, where they can, you know, take cover from the elements, okay? And then you want to have open hardwoods like you see in the back over there, and that's where the deer can you know, eat the mast producing nuts to help them get by in you know, in the fall time. So it's a good mixture area here. This is my secret spot. So all right guys, stay tuned. All right guys, so here you can see a good example of what you would consider a mast producing tree, and that's a beech tree. You see this tree here? It has this very smooth bark on it. This is a tree that actually bears will hit this really hard. And if there's bears in the area, they climb to the top and they scratch. The bark is really easy to scratch. There's nothing to this bark. You know, you could probably scratch it with your fingernail. It's just a very thin bark, you know. But the bears will use their claws and they'll climb up the tree, and they'll actually climb up these trees all the way to the top. And when they're climbing, you'll see these claw marks on the tree. They'll actually go all the way up to the top, and they'll sit up there and they'll eat the nuts at the top before they fall down, because the nuts don't fall down until the fall time. But you'll see them in the summertime actually climb up and try to eat them. So yeah, beech nuts are really good. Oaks, but no sign of any bear yet. We'll see what happens. And I'm trying to find a good spot to set up my my penetration test. So stand by, guys. Wanted to show you guys some more of the terrain here. It's really cool. There's like this there's like an open area here surrounded by woods, and there's like this hemlock here in the middle. It's a really cool little like spot you could sit under and use that to break the weather. If there's any rain or snow, you can sit down under there, make a little camp. But it's really beautiful. Here's some old logging truck ruts here. These are from the harvesters, the skidders, when they drag the logs of big machines. And they leave these big ruts, and it must have been a long time ago, but you can see it actually turned into a little stream here, and it's a good water source. So good thing, good for you know, deer and stuff. But you know, this is a good area for hunting. All right, if you guys are looking to get into hunting, or you know, this is the type of spot that you want to find. You want a good mixture of different things. As you can see, there's a lot of green stuff on the ground. Then you have the hemlocks down there where they can take shelter from the elements in there. All right, because the hemlocks are like a natural you know, wind break. They break the wind, and you know, they break the snow. The snow doesn't hit you. The rain and stuff, you know, it's like a natural shelter. As you can see how dense it is under these hemlocks. And and I am carrying my .44 Magnum right now, you know, just in case I run into a bear. And obviously I'm going to be doing a penetration test as well. But always want to carry a .44 mag or some type of big bore revolver. You know, if you're going into a wilderness area, you never know what you're going to encounter. So, you know, I'm actually getting deeper and deeper into the wilderness now, and I'm by myself. So, you know, Got to have adequate protection. You know, not that I couldn't handle myself against the bear, you know, but it would be much easier with a pistol than with my bare hands or with a knife. If I had to use a knife, I got my... you always want to carry a knife with you when you're in the woods, but a lot of people don't realize a knife is good protection. I got my survival knife here. If I, you know, ever do have to get into a confrontation with a wild animal, this will dispatch that animal real quick if I have to defend myself against a bear. All right, and I keep it on me in an area that I can quickly draw, you know, in case I can't get to my pistol or my pistol falls from my hand, something happens. You always want to have something to back you up, and a knife is just a very simple tool. It doesn't break. And I know I always talk about protection, but you know, it's important to talk about protection when you're in the wilderness. But here you can see these hemlock woods. They create a natural shelter from the elements, you know. So, and you got the water source here. This is a great area. All right, guys, stay tuned. Get that clear water here. Now, as clean as this water is, there could be parasites in here. But if you're really, you know, dehydrated, you're better off just drinking the water, because the parasites will, you know, if you're in a situation where you're really dehydrated, you're better off drinking the water than you are to not drink it and die. And, you know, if you can't purify the water, or you're really thirsty for whatever reason, you're better off just drinking the water and dealing with the parasites later, especially if you're close to civilization and you know you're pretty close to getting home. Better off just drinking the water if you don't have a way of purifying it, you know, because, you know, the parasites, it'll take time for them to actually, you know, make you sick. And this is actually a logging road here. Looks like an old, this is actually the tires from an old skidder. When they were, you know, skidders are these big machines that drag logs, and they're basically like almost like a loader, like a front end loader. They have big wheels and they leave these massive ruts. But as you can see, that was a long time ago, and it turned into a stream now, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, if you're dehydrated, just drink the water. You know, you don't want to die from thirst, you know, before you actually deal with the parasites, because the parasites won't kill you right away. It'll take some time. So it looks like I found a good spot to do my penetration test. I'm gonna shoot at these blowdowns over here, and we'll see if I can't punch through those blowdowns with my 44 mag. If it can't penetrate through those logs, that's what I'm gonna do. So, wow, look at these blowdowns, guys. This is crazy here. Look at that. Definitely wouldn't want to be under this. This is what I'm going to try to do, is I'm going to try to see if I can't penetrate through this wood here. You can see it's a little bit, you know, rotten, but it's not terrible. It's actually pretty fresh. So I feel like a bear tearing through the bark, trying to, you know, like bears, they tear through bark like this and they'll try to find, you know, bugs and stuff. So I'm going to try to shoot through this now. We'll see if the 44 mag can't penetrate that log. All right, guys. So this is called the New York Prepper ballistics test. All right. No fancy range, no fancy stuff here. Just natural environment. And look at these beautiful woods around me, guys. So I'll keep you guys posted how everything turns out. Alright, guys, so I concluded my penetration test. You can see it's getting dark now, so I'm gonna head out. You can hear this beautiful stream over here. I got my tritium wrist compass, which is gonna get me back to my car. Okay, the reason why it's tritium is so I can see it in the dark. Here we got some deer. We got some deer poop here, so definitely a good deer area. Haven't seen any signs of bears though, but I'm sure they're around. So, but what a good place to test my bear ammo. So it was really fun. I had a great time. I'm going to check my bearing, make sure I'm going in the right direction. And yes, I am going in the right direction. I'm going to be heading right through there, right where my light is pointing, and up to my car. So stick with me, and I'll take you for the rest of the hike back to my vehicle. And there's the shooting range area here. That was the log that I shot at. So I'm gonna get out of here now. You know, a lot of people, they're afraid of the dark when they're in the woods, but not me. You know, for some reason I don't really get affected by it. You know, not to say that I'm, you know, a robot and I don't have any fear, but you know, some people get really scared of being in the woods at night, and it doesn't really bother me, actually, because I got all my weapons on me. Got my pistol, got my knife, got my flashlight. If anything wants to come after me, you know, it's gonna be a bad day for them, whether it's a Bigfoot or black bear, whatever. It's gonna be a bad day. So even if I didn't have my pistol, you know, still would be a bad day. Not trying to sound cocky or anything, but you know, just saying, you gotta have a warrior mentality. Okay, even when you're in the woods, you're in the deep woods, all right, miles away from civilization like me right now, you got to have that warrior mentality. You know, you can't you know, be paranoid and be afraid of everything, because then you're not going to think clearly. You know, you have to control your emotions and remain in control. All right, no matter what the situation is. If a bear jumps you and starts charging you, you got to remain in control. You can't panic. You got to keep your nerves under control, okay? Because same thing in a self-defense scenario with people. You know, if you're dealing with people, you know, you usually have very short time to react, especially if there's a bear, you know, trying to charge you, and you're in a deep wooded environment like this and you don't know where the bear's coming from. You know, you got to remain in control, guys. You got to control your emotions, all right? Because those split seconds, you know, that you have to pull the trigger or you know, do whatever you need to do, get your knife out if you don't have a gun, those split seconds are absolutely essential. You know, you can't lose control, okay? And here's this nice little stream here. Looks really nice. Getting thirsty just looking at it. Look at how clear that water is, guys. You can see right down to the bottom. So I'm going to be heading up there in this direction, and we'll see what we come across. I heard some turkeys earlier while I was shooting, actually. I heard some turkeys gobbling, which was really nice. And you know, it actually helps to, when you're in the woods, especially if you're by yourself, but even if you're with somebody, you always want to talk, all right? When you make noise, you let everything know around you. Like right now, it's, you know, the woods are totally silent right now, you know? But here I am making a ton of noise, and a lot of people would say that's stupid, but it's actually smart. Look at this big birch tree, guys, right there. Huge birch tree, beautiful. You know, very old. That's an old birch right there. That's probably 200 years. Look at that big hemlock that fell over. And this is an interesting tree here too. It's another birch. Look how it, look at this root here. Isn't that crazy? Look at this, root. It's huge. It's probably like 3 feet. And this is a big apple tree here. And no wonder there's a lot of deer because of this apple. But you want to make noise. You know, let everything know that you're here. Especially, you know, if you're with a friend, you want to talk that'll scare away any predators or any animals, you know, and it'll prevent you from surprising them. You don't want to surprise an animal. That's the worst thing you can do. Look at this huge apple tree, guys. Massive, massive apple tree here. Huge. Absolutely huge. Never seen an apple tree this big before. Monstrous, guys, monstrous. Must be really old. There must have been a farm here like hundreds of years ago. My elevation right now, I'm probably 2,800 feet or so, maybe 3,000 feet. So the birds out here are just beautiful. Here's another big apple tree here. Look at this apple tree, huge. Look at how thick the trunk is on that apple tree here. This is the kind of area you want to look for if you're, you know, trying to find a good hunting spot. And again, you know, don't rely on your pistol. Always have a backup plan. All right, because you can run out of ammo. You can miss your shot. You can drop your weapon on the ground. All right, you always want to have some kind of a backup plan. All right. And always be alert to your surroundings when you're walking. Pay attention to what's going on around you. All right, bears have a tendency of being very quiet. All right, they walk extremely quiet. Because they have pads on their feet, you know, so when they walk, it's almost like a person walking barefoot, you know. There's a big surface area for the bear to spread its weight out over, you know, versus a deer. When a deer is walking, they break a lot of sticks and they make a lot of noise because they have hooves, and the hooves just break everything in the way. But a bear, you know, they can really walk quietly if they want to. They can walk very deliberately and very quietly. And there's actually been situations where people have been jumped by a bear. You know, actually my dad was hunting last year, and he was sitting behind a tree, you know, like a tree like this. He was sitting behind it, and you know, he was watching an area where there was a lot of deer, and out of nowhere he saw a bear just running towards him. You know, he didn't even hear it coming. It was just he heard something like really close to him, and he turned around and he looked, and he saw this huge bear running towards him. All right, and then it stopped like 10 feet away from him. Okay, and it stopped, and it didn't know where he was. I think it smelled him, and it knew he was there, and it tried to get close. And then once it got close, it tried to charge, and it was using its nose. It was using its nose to try to find the right area where my dad was. But because bears don't have good eyesight, you know, because they don't have good eyesight, he didn't know where my dad was, because my dad was you know, camouflaged, and his silhouette was broken up because his back was against a tree. So, you know, his silhouette was broken up, and so here we are. I'm out of the deep woods now, and I got to go through this brush, and I got to be very alert now because there could be a bear over here. Very dense brush here, so I'm gonna be very alert now, and try to make noise, talk while I'm walking. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little video, and I'll be doing a lot more shooting videos. All right, and maybe some hunting videos as well, wilderness exploration. I love being out in the wilderness, guys. I'm a woodsman. You know, I'm a woodsman, guys. So almost back to the civilization, or actually my car. Here's some deer trail over here. You can see the deer trail, and over here you could see the deer trail too. You see this trail here. That's a deer trail. You see how it's worn out, but you can see some poop here. We changed the light down. Some poop right there. You guys see that pile? All right, that looks like deer poop. Definitely not bear. That's a big deer though, probably a buck. Big poop. But also with bears too is they like to use hiking trails, and they like to use roadways. You know, they don't like to bust through deep brush. You know, they're just like people, you know, they want to be comfortable, and they want to, you know, move through areas that are not too thick. But they will hide in thick areas. You know, if you shoot at one, or you know, you scare one, they're gonna run into thick brush like over here. They'll run into that. But for the most part, they don't actually, you know, walk through that. If they're traveling, they like to go through open areas, hiking trails, roadways. So that's why you got to be really vigilant, you know, when you're on a hiking trail in the deep woods, and you know, you got to pay attention, you know, see if there's any signs of bear activity. You know, look on the ground, see if there's any tracks or any sign of a bear in the area. You know, look at the trees to see if the trees are scratched, okay? And if you see sign that there's a bear, you'll know to be on alert, you know. And bears will, like I said, they'll climb trees and leave marks when they climb it, but they'll also actually mark the trees and mark their territory. And what they'll do is they'll go up to a tree and they'll just scrape the whole bark off, you know, from maybe like 2 feet on the ground, from 2 feet above ground to like 6, 7, 8 feet. They stand up on their 2 legs and they scrape down and they rip the whole bark off of the tree. It's pretty impressive, you know, for a bear to do that to a live tree. The amount of power, you know, is remarkable. Bears are extremely powerful animals. Even a black bear, they are extremely powerful, okay? A 200-pound black bear is many times stronger than a 200-pound man, okay? So, here's another deer trail. If you guys see that trail right here, you know, so you can see it's really well worn. A lot of deer coming through here. It's like a hiking trail. Pretty amazing. Look at that, guys. So, all right, so thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more shooting videos, more wilderness hiking videos, and more survival videos, okay? So I made it to the, I'm near civilization. I can see the roadway already down there, and you know, I'm pretty good. So, so take care, guys. God bless, and you know, stay healthy. I mean, it's just so beautiful out here. I don't even want to go back. I don't want to leave. I almost want to just camp out here, but I got to get back. All right, guys, I made it back to the car now. Did my penetration test. Got my 44 mag on me now. Didn't see any bear, but the penetration test was successful. In the sense that the penetration test was concluded. It didn't penetrate as deeply as I would have liked it to, but it didn't pass through the 1 foot log. But, you know, whatever. I mean, a 1 foot log, that's pretty, you know, there's not many weapons that can shoot through that anyway. But it did shoot through the smaller log rather easily, so that was a plus. And I wish I had more time to shoot a little more and have some other things to shoot. Like I'd like to try some railroad ties and stuff like that. I'm sure it would punch through a railroad tie rather easily, but the 1 foot log, it just wouldn't punch through. But look at this nice apple tree over here. Beautiful area. A lot of bears in this area. You could see the apple tree right here. They all come to eat the apples. Nice little cedar over here. Beautiful cedar. All right. Beautiful area, guys. So, you know, try to make your, you know, try to get out to these nice places if you can, you know. Get your mind off of everything that's going on. And here's some of the shells. I have a bunch of shells here from the shooting. Nice, beautiful nickel-plated underwood shells. So try to get out, you know, spend time in the woods, all right? Test your skills, test your mind, test your fortitude, you know, and you'll grow from it. So take care, guys. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. The birds are getting ready to go to bed. Calling each other.